Welcome to Sinful's Horror Stories. If you're new to the channel, please be sure to subscribe now for future content. Below is a collection of horrifying details that Disney chose to leave out of all of their book fairy tale adaptations. Read on only if you want to completely ruin your childhood. Tonight's video is about the scary truth behind most Disney stories. Sit back, relax, stay sinful. Number 1. Cinderella. In the Brothers Grimm version, one of Cinderella's evil stepsisters cut off her toes and the other her heel so they can both fit into the tiny glass slipper. The prince is notified by little doves that there's blood on the shoe, finally discovers that the true owner is Cinderella. Once the stepsisters realize they should try to win favor with Cinderella, after all, she will be the queen. They attend her wedding, only to have their eyes pecked out by birds. Did they deserve it? I'll let you decide. Some other side notes on this story. Cinderella doesn't have a fairy godmother. Rather, she plants a tree by her mother's grave and prays under it every day. She finds her dresses to wear to each ball under the tree. There are 3 in the story, not 1 like in the movie. She is still helped by animals, though specifically birds, not mice. Also, she doesn't just lose her shoe because she is in a rush. The clever prince covers the steps in pitch to make her stick to them, but she only loses a shoe in the process. Number 2. The Little Mermaid. Hans Christian Andersen's classic tale is a 180 from the Disney film. Some parts align. She does see the prince from afar in his ship, and she does rescue him from drowning and fall in love with him. She does visit the sea witch who takes her tongue in exchange for legs, and she does do it because the Little Mermaid has an amazing voice. The deal is the same. The mermaid can only remain a human if she finds true love's kiss, and the prince falls in love with her and marries her. However, the penalty in the movie is only that Ariel will turn back into a mermaid if she fails. In the story, she will die if she fails. Also, while the prince remains a main motivator, the mermaid in the story is also motivated because humans have eternal souls, and mermaids do not. The Disney movie leads out that the penalty the mermaid pays for having legs, every single step she takes will feel like she's walking on sharp shards of glass. At first it seems like the plan is working, but then the prince ends up marrying another, a woman he thinks is the person who saved him. The mermaid can't exactly tell him the truth since she can't talk. She is told that if she kills the prince, then she can simply turn back into a mermaid and doesn't have to die. She just can't do it though. She throws herself into the sea and turns into sea foam, though it should be mentioned that she then becomes a daughter of the air, entering a kind of purgatory where she has to do good deeds until maybe she can earn her soul back, which will take about 300 years to happen. How's that for a happy ending? Number 3. The Fox and the Hound. The Fox and the Hound is based on a 1967 novel written by Daniel Mannix. In the book, the fox is raised by the dog's owner, Hunter's family, but eventually returns to the wild. He occasionally returns to taunt the dogs and flash his cunning fox skills. One of the dogs breaks his chain and chases him. That dog ends up getting hit by a train. The hunter is devastated and vows revenge on the fox. He becomes obsessed but can never catch him, although he does kill the fox's first mate, second mate, and children. Eventually, Todd the fox does die, but of exhaustion from being chased so much. Copper the dog from Fox and the Hound is so old that he needs to be shot, and that is the end of the book. Pretty different from the movie, where a puppy and a baby fox become best friends for life. Number 4. Beauty and the Beast. Beauty and the Beast is actually pretty accurate, except for some uninteresting details, like how Belle's father used to be rich, but got himself into major debt. There is one unfortunate detail that the story does leave out. In the first believed version of the tale by Gabriel Suzanne Barbeau de Villeneuve, Belle has 2 wicked sisters. Lots of wicked family members in fairy tales, unfortunately. The beast allows Belle to travel home, as long as she is only gone for 1 week. Her sisters are extremely jealous to hear about her luxurious life, and try to persuade Belle to stay with them longer than a week, in hopes that the beast will be infuriated with Belle and eat her alive upon her return. Yikes. Number 5. Pinocchio. Disney's Pinocchio came from Carlo Collodi's 1883 Italian classic, The Adventures of Pinocchio. You might think Pinocchio was mischievous in the movie, but he is far more so in the book. In the book, he runs away as soon as he learns to walk. He is found by the police, who imprison Geppetto because they believe Pinocchio was abused. Pinocchio returns home, where he kills a talking cricket, sorry Jiminy, who warns him of the dangers of hedonistic pleasures and obedience. Geppetto was released and insists that Pinocchio goes to school. Pinocchio sells his school books for a ticket to the Great Marionette Theater. He encounters a fox and a cat, who steal his money and unsuccessfully try to hang him. Luckily, after saving Geppetto from the terrible dogfish, you might know it better as a gigantic angry whale from the film, Pinocchio shapes up and eventually becomes a real boy. And you know all that stuff about boys getting turned into donkeys, and then sold to evil circuses did end up making it into the movie, surprisingly. Number 6. Sleeping Beauty. In Giambattista Basile's tale, which is the actual origin of Sleeping Beauty's story, a king happens to walk by Sleeping Beauty's castle and knock on the door. When no one answers, he climbs up a ladder through a window. He finds the princess and calls to her, but she is unconscious. She does not wake up. Well, dear reader, he carries her to the bed and rapes her. Well, dear reader, he carries her to the bed and has his way with her. Then he just leaves. She awakens after she gives birth because one of her twins sucks the flax from the spindle out of her finger. The king comes back, and despite having had his way with her, they end up falling in love. However, another big problem. The king is still married to someone else. His wife finds out and not only tries to have the twins killed, cooked, and fed to the king, but also tries to burn the princess at the stake. Luckily, she is unsuccessful. The king and the princess get married and live happily ever after, despite the fact that he had his way with her. Perrault's adaptation of Basile's updated adaptation of the story is probably what was used for the Disney adaptation, as they are much more similar. Number 7. Tangled. I know, this is a pretty loose adaptation, but still, I think it's worth mentioning. In the Brothers Grimm version, Rapunzel gets knocked up by the prince before they escape, and the evil sorceress figures it out. The sorceress cuts off Rapunzel's hair and throws her out into the wilderness. When the prince shows up to see her, the sorceress dangs Rapunzel's cut-off hair to lure him, and tells him he will never see Rapunzel again. He jumps out the window in despair and is blinded from the thorns below. He wanders around aimlessly. He is blind. Rapunzel gives birth to twins. He is eventually guided back to her when he hears her voice. Her tears restore his sight. They return to the prince's kingdom and live happily ever after. See, some of these fairy tales actually do have real happy endings, even when women have babies out of wedlock. Number 8. The Lion King. Oh, you didn't know that The Lion King was a loose adaptation of Shakespeare's Hamlet? Well, fancy that. A jealous brother kills the king. The son finds out about it and wants revenge. Rosencrantz and Guildenstern, Timon and Pumbaa distract him, but finally the son kills the evil jealous brother. Well, actually in Shakespeare's version everyone dies, not just the evil jealous brother, formerly known as Claudius. Number 9. Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. In the Brothers Grimm version, the evil queen stepmother asks a hunter to take Snow White into the forest and kill her. This also happens in the Disney movie. However, in the story, she asks him to also bring her back Snow White's lungs and liver. He can't kill Snow White, so brings back a boar's lung and liver instead. The queen eats the lung and liver, believing them to be Snow White's. In the book, the queen tries twice unsuccessfully to kill Snow White. The third time, when the queen gives her the apple, just like in the movie, Snow White faints and can't be revived. She is placed into a glass coffin. A prince comes in and wants to take her away, even though she is still asleep, which is very weird. The dwarves hesitantly allow it, and while she is being carried, the carriers trip, causing the poisoned apple to become dislodged from Snow White's throat. She and the prince, of course, get married. The evil queen is invited. As a punishment, she is forced to wear burning hot iron shoes and dance until she drops dead. Correction. A various version of the article stated that in Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, the evil queen asks the huntsman to bring back Snow White's heart and liver. It has now been updated to the correct lungs and liver. Thank you guys for watching and listening. I hope this video was enjoyable and a different change of pace for you. Email all of your true scary stories to thesinfulsavant@gmail.com. I will leave a link to my email in the description box below as well. If you enjoy true scary horrifying posts on Instagram, follow my Instagram at b.scared.now. I will leave a link to my Instagram as well. Until we meet again, my friends, stay safe, stay happy, and stay sinful.